Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Draft Room After Hours. I am JD, the Draft Room Baller. Happy Father's Day to all the unsung heroes in the family movie out there in Fantasyland especially. We have a special episode tonight, a special live stream. You guys know I love pumping out some live drafts for you on this channel. And tonight we have a monster one. Let's get the beats going to set the tone. We've got the Big Gorilla 350 buy-in. See what we are gonna pick up here. Let me just do a quick check on my ownership. We drew the 4 spot, so we have a lot of options here. Just want to check my Big Gorillas to kind of see where my ownership is right now. All right, we're gonna go one direction, but we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna go Bijan here. Liking that offense, liking Bijan, what he's shown us since he's been in the league. Just pull up my comment page here so I can see you in the live chat. Hopefully you're joining us tonight. We've got the Hairy Snowman in the house. Yes, sir. Holy crap, the 4 spot. That is correct. You know, I usually roll with the 8-9. Usually I'm in the 8-9 range. So pretty happy to be early. And I was thinking to go JJ or Lamb here, but I mean, Bijan sitting there at the 4. I'm going to take it. We'll start off with the running back room. That's why I like to go fluid into these drafts. I don't want to be too glued to, you know, one strategy in any draft, to be honest. I think every draft is completely different. I don't go in saying, you know, I'm a hero RB or zero RB or robust RB, or this is what I'm going to do. I like to see how the room's going to go. And Harry Snowman points out, room starts off a bit yellow with Chase going off the board in the 2. Gibbs goes off in the 1 spot, which is interesting. We got Gibbs, I believe, in our draft right now. We got Gibbs at the 7 spot. So to see him go in the 1 is definitely interesting. Let me just put a little tweet out that we are live. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight on this very special episode of the Draft Room Baller. Draft Room After Hours. Tonight is actually the last night for the early Rampage on the FFPC. And what that does, it gives you 2 tournaments with 1 entry, basically. It's basically what it is. What up, Best Ball on call? Appreciate the like, guys. You know what to do. I appreciate all the support, but the kind of easiest, quickest way that you can support the channel is always to smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We're bringing you the live drafts on the regular. We've got the GOAT District High Stakes Fantasy Show coming back to the channel this Tuesday night. We're going to be looking at a main event, $2,000 buy-in on the FFPC. So far, like I said, Gibbs in the 1 spot's a little different. Chase usually goes there. He goes at 2. JJ at 3. I took Bijan in the 4 spot. I find the running backs are starting to show up in different ranges in the first 6. I mean, even 7. Like I said, we got Gibbs at the 7 spot. Bowers goes at 7. Neighbors goes off as the first receiver, I would say, in the next kind of tier after the top three, I've got Chase, Jefferson, and Lamb in that same tier. Henry and Gianti go off next, and then Puka in the 11th spot. So a little different with this draft, which I like. Yeah, Neighbors in the 8, and then so CMC McBride on the turn, and then Brian Thomas comes back. I like when the board starts a little crazy. So as I was saying, this is the last night, the last day for the early Rampage. And what that did is if you got in to some of these earlier Big Gorillas, you got entered obviously into the main Big Gorilla, which is 500 grand to first, $5.7 million in prize money. But if you drafted up to tonight in the Big Gorilla, you were also entered into another tournament. Let me just get those details. So the Big Gorilla itself is about 20,000 teams. I'd have to look about the early Rampage to see. Trying to see if I can find it somewhere, how many entries are in the early Rampage. I don't know if it's still gonna show. Early Rampage, so 2,400 teams in the early Rampage. So like a tenth of, oh, we're kind of up on the board here. So you've got a tenth of the entries basically. We are on the clock. Let me see here. I'm looking at a couple receivers that I like here. I'm probably going to take all right, I'm not going to overthink it. One of my favorite receivers in the league, A.J. Brown. Good offense. He's a beast. Pairing him up with Bijan is pretty sweet. What's up, MP60 from Germany? We are global, people. We are global. Appreciate you joining us, brother. Saw your comment the other day in the chat with, or on the video with Dan and I. Appreciate you. You're one of our earlier audience from our earlier days. We appreciate you following and supporting. As I mentioned earlier, the GOAT District High Stakes Fantasy Show is back this Tuesday evening with my boy Dan Williamson. You know him from the Player Profiler. You know him from the Fantasy Empire. High Stakes Savant. One of the sharpest guys in the game. And then we've got our boy Rob, the Hairy Snowman. He'll be joining us. We'll be talking main event action from the FFPC, $2,000 buy-in. So Kittle goes off the board. Interesting to see Kittle now coming off the board in the second round. He was in the third round for quite a bit there. Always the third tight end off the board. Jay Wimmers is in the house. Appreciate you joining us, Jay. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash that like button. GOAT District was my gateway to best ball. That's awesome, brother. I feel good about that. You're welcome. Love me some best ball. All right, let's see what's happening here ADP-wise. Where are we at? We're on the clock here, 60 seconds. JSN goes off the board. He's someone I was looking at there. I mean, third round really defines kind of how you're going to build this. I had an idea after I took Bijan, but there's someone I really like on the board here. Just want to take a quick look at my tiers. All right, let's stick to high-scoring offenses. I'm going to go T. Higgins as my wide receiver 2 here with Bijan and A.J. Brown. There was a running back I really like taking in the third, but I like him when I'm in the back end of the draft. Like I said, I've been camping out in the 8, 9, 10 spots in a lot of my drafts and just recently been moving on into some new spots on the board, which is nice, right? Because you get to mix up your builds, mix up your ownership percentage on players. So starting it off with Bijan, AJ Brown, and T. Higgins. T. Higgins, I mean, the sky's the limit with what he can give you in that offense and as a receiver. Obviously, the hesitation comes with, is he going to be available every Sunday? So he's got his contract now. That defense is probably not going to be great. They're going to be chucking the ball. So after starting off with Bijan, I kind of like locking up 2 stud receivers here. I think we took T. Higgins in our main, the live main that we did. Appreciate you, Rob. So Big Gorilla, for those who don't know, is on the FFPC. Tight end premium, of course. 1 quarterback. Start 2 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, and then 2 flex spots. Those 2 flex spots can be a receiver, running back, or a tight end. Not the deepest of leagues. I mean, for redraft, it's perfectly fine. You're looking at usually 10, I believe it is, on your bench. There is a kicker and a defense in these leagues. Make it a little interesting. I don't mind it. Some people don't like it. I kind of don't mind it. There's a bit of strategy there. So far, I mean, it started off a little different ADP-wise with the guys going off the board, but build-wise, I mean, nothing too crazy. 7 spots going 0 receiver, I guess you could call that build so far, with Brock Bowers, A-Chain, and Kyron Williams. Breece Hall is a guy I like taking in this round, but like I said, I kind of like him closer to the back end. So if I can get like a Rice, a JSN, or a T. Higgins here, I'll usually grab it. That falls back to the 4 spot. If you're not already on the FFPC, make sure you use the code DRBALLER. That's DRBALLER. You're helping out the channel. You're getting yourself $25 off your first team after your first deposit. And right now the leagues are pumping on the FFPC. Live drafts, slow drafts, main events, $2,000 buy-in all the way down to $5 buy-in. Classics, which are just your regular 12-man leagues. You've got best ball starting at $5. You've got a best ball tournament right now, $35 entry for the BBT with $100,000 to first, and then you've got the $125 buy-in with a $300,000 prize for first place. there's not too many formats that you're not going to find on the FFPC. There's a buy-in for everyone. My favorite site to play on for sure. So make sure you're signed up. Use the code DRBaller to get yourself $25 off your first buy-in. So a couple quarterbacks off the board right now. Josh Allen goes off to Team 9. We started Henry, ASB, Allen, and then Mixon. Mixon, I hear, is walking around with a boot right now. They just brought in Chubb. I don't know how you guys feel about him. Makes me a little nervous. Yeah, so the main event, we're going to be reviewing a live main event on Tuesday night with Dan, myself, and Rob. There are some big guns in that main event draft. I mean, we were right next to Dave Hubbard, who's known as one of the best in the game. Austin Martin's another guy in that draft that we respect gratefully. A couple other big kahunas, big fish. Not big fish, I guess big whales is more like it. I think we held our own. Think you guys will find our build interesting. I really liked how it turned out. All right, so coming back to us here. On deck here, we've started already with one running back, Bijan, AJ Brown, T. Higgins off the board. After 3. Anyone who knows me, or if you've been watching the channel this offseason, you probably know where I'm going here. There's 2 ways I could go. I could mix it up here. I'm going to go with my boy Worthy. Big Worthy fan. I know Rice is quote-unquote healthy, should be back. I think that opens it up for Worthy. I think KC is going to have to throw a bit more this year. And let's face it, we haven't seen Mahomes with this kind of... I mean, obviously Tyreek Hill, in the Tyreek Hill days, he had the Tyreek-Kelsey combo. But I feel like since the peak of that offense, since Tyreek's gone, we haven't seen Rice and Worthy on at the same time healthy, necessarily. And not only healthy, but they both have had a chance to build a rapport with Mahomes, learn the offense. Kelsey will be there. I don't know to what capacity. I'm sure he'll come back and give us, one more solid season. See what the ownership is right now on Worthy so far. Jamie in the house. What's up, Jamie? Appreciate you joining us, brother. What's going on my little stain action on the shirt? Is that just a reflection? All right, let's look at this ownership on Worthy right now. Oh, that's no problem at all. I'm at about 16% on the site as a whole. So Tet was the other guy I was considering there. I really like Tet this year. I think he's going to get peppered. I don't know how long it'll take for him to really take on that role and really become that #1 target in Carolina, but I think he does get there. His ADP is kind of 5th round. So I was trying to see if he might make it back around to me. All right. What do we have? 4. Two ways I can go here. All right. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. I do like waiting at quarterback in most of these, but I feel like Hurts gives you similar. For me, Hurts gives you, he's kind of like the last guy in that tier, in that top tier. So if him or Burrow make it back to me, they're a consideration. There are guys that I could have taken as wide receiver 4s here. There are a few guys actually I like here as wide receiver 4. But you know what? It's one of those where my first instinct was to put Hurts in my queue. I don't mind going with a Hurts build here. We've got Bijan as our hero RB. We've got our 3 stud receivers. Best ball on call doesn't like it. I'm guessing he doesn't like it. But there are times where the Joe Burrow, the Jalen Hurts, I find in the 5th, they're pretty... Like if it fits the build, I like it. And I'm not necessarily looking to super stack in a redraft tournament, but I don't mind getting like a Hurts AJ Brown combo that I can just roll every week. Great offense. Who knows if Barkley gives us a similar, volume as last year? Oh, he's saying he was guessing the pick. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I'm not necessarily. I'm stacking all day in best ball. But in redraft, if I can get like a really strong stack, especially in these first few rounds, I'm going to take it when it falls to me. And that's kind of what I did there. See what Jamie's asking. He's on the clock. Who's a better pick in a tight end premium best ball, Sanders or Gesicki? For me, it's Gesicki. All I look at is look at the offense. He should be the 3rd or 4th read for Burrow in an offense that's just going to be throwing the ball all over the place. Yeah, Gesicki for me too. I actually like Gesicki. At cost, I find he's a really nice value. They just signed him for 3 years. I think he gives you pretty nice upside. If, knock on wood, one of those top 2 studs at receiver miss some time, I mean, Gesicki just kind of slides up on the target hierarchy. No problem, brother. So, few guys I like in this round. Obviously, Pickens going to Dallas. I like what that offense, especially in the passing game with Dak coming back. They don't have much at running back, so you got to think they're going to be throwing the ball quite a bit. I'm not liking this beat at all, so we're going to change that. But Travis Hunter, I mean, he's kind of that, you know, surprise in a box type of play. I don't mind him if I already have like 3 or 4 receivers here as an upside play, but the 2 guys I really like are the 2 receivers that just went off the board, are Zay Flowers and Jamison Williams. I think they can both take huge steps this year. I think we've seen flashes from both of them. They're in high-power offenses. Detroit's got a new OC this year, so we don't really know how that's going to go, but I think that opens it up his range of opportunities to be even wider in Detroit. And Flowers, nobody's talking about Flowers. I think what he offers in that offense, 3rd-year receiver, he's a nice breakout candidate, in my opinion. So a couple of tight ends go off the board, and Hawkinson and Kelsey start loading the... This is the part of the draft where it gets so hard to not keep drafting the same guys. Because I feel like the farther you go into the draft, the more you get the guys you like and the guys you don't like as you look at your, you know, kind of the available players. So we'll see who falls to us here. Not really panicking at any position or anything. The new Father's Day Yeti. Got it today. Shout out to my girls. Part of my gift. My daughter's birthday is also on Father's Day, so it's like double fun. We took her to a place called the Rec Room. It's kind of like a Dave & Buster's new version of it. It was actually pretty cool. She had fun. You know, you play games, you get a bracelet, you pay a bunch of games, and then you try to accumulate tickets to get yourself some overpriced stuffy or, you know, something like that. As long as she has fun, man, I'm good. All right, what are we looking at here? Maybe. Few options here. See where some of these guys are. I'm going to go with Dunze. He's someone I've been liking in this range right now. I just feel like he's kind of, you know, everybody thinks Burden's coming in. DJ Moore's there. There was another Chicago Bear I was considering there. But I am really liking locking up my receivers early in these redraft tournaments. And my my fourth receiver after I've got kind of my 3 studs, I usually like going that upside play. A.J. Brown, hoping to ride all year. T. Higgins as well, and same with Worthy. I mean, Odunze can pop and just be a smash this year and kind of that league winner type. But you got to think Chicago maybe takes a few weeks to adapt to this whole offense. This new offense with Ben Johnson there. I'm not necessarily depending on him per se. So after 6, we've got Bijan as kind of like our hero RB. Fell to us at the 4 spot. AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy as our top 3 receivers. Jalen Hurts. Again, the last QB in that top tier for me. Stack him with AJ Brown. And then Odunze in the 6 for a bit of upside. Depth at receiver. Jennings is another guy considered there. And of course, Caleb Johnson is definitely a guy I like there. I just felt that, I mean, depending what happens these next 3 picks, but what are we at? 7th round here. Let me look at this ADP for a sec. So Swift was the other guy I considered. I think he's kind of being not forgotten, but you don't hear too many people talking about him. He had a decent season last year, considering that offense was a bit of a mess. But I think if that offense does take a step forward with this new head coach, this new coaching staff, Swift can be a huge beneficiary from that. This guy loves to kill the clock. I noticed. 3 spot. So he goes Cam Scadaboo there. All right, let's go Pacheco here. I think he bounces back this year. There's another running back I was considering there. We've got Worthy. Take another Chief here with Pacheco. I think he bounces back and takes back that backfield. Didn't necessarily bring in anything too scary at that position. I know he looked a little wonky coming back last year, especially in the playoffs, but I think with a whole offseason under his belt, he was coming back from injury. I think he can come back. The kid's got a lot of heart. He's one of those kids you like to root for. I think he's a solid RB7. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments. Let me know if you're watching this later on. Drop a comment. Picks you like, you don't like. So far, we've got Bijan and Pacheco at running back. We've got AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy, Rome Odunze at receiver, and then we've got Jalen Hurts as the captain of the roster. Jamie, you nailed it. You nailed it, brother. My daughter was born on Father's Day. Doesn't get much better than that. So Aaron Jones, another guy I was looking at there. Anyone else have trouble clicking on that name this year? I don't know what it is, man. He's in a good offense. He's got an awesome head coach, offensive-minded coach. I just have trouble clicking on it. Maybe it's the fact that he is... Let me see here. Where's he at exactly? That he's 30 and a half. You know, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I'm pretty high on Jordan Mason. That could be why. But I mean, it would have been a good hedge to get him there as my RB2. So maybe that was the click there. But Pacheco is a guy I don't have a lot of. I feel like I keep, whenever I look for him, he's already gone. Let me see what kind of ownership I have on him. I had trouble clicking on Pacheco before the draft, but they took a running back, in the 6th round? Not too worried about it. So nothing too crazy. I'm trying to find a build that, I mean, the 7 spot is obviously going RB heavy. He's got Bowers, A-Chain, Kyron, Hampton, RJ Harvey, and Aaron Jones. We'll see. I mean, obviously last year the RB heavy teams did all right. I know I had a team go pretty far in this very tournament. Started JJ, then went Barkley, A-Chain, and Kamara. And that team did pretty solid. I'm trying to think of I think my tight end was not the greatest, but it was still good enough in Kincaid. May have had a decent tight end too. I'd have to look that up, but... So a little tight end run right now with Njoku going off in the 5 spot in the 7th round. Ingram goes off next. Jonnu goes off. And then Andrews and Warren. So a double tap at tight end by the 11th spot. He started Nakua, Brian Thomas, James Cook, Terry McLaurin, Flowers, Montgomery, and then Jonnu Warren. I like the build structurally. Don't love all the players, but I do like the build there with Yellow Snow. 12 spot's got a nice, pretty nice build with McCaffrey, Judkins, Adams, Williams, Olave. All right, we got some guys lined up in the queue. Let's see which direction we go and who's left when it gets back to us. So Mahomes goes off in the 8th, middle of the 8th, to the 7th spot, who has 1 receiver so far in Sutton. Interesting start. Shakir's a guy I did have in my queue, not necessarily a guy I was going to take, but I do like clicking on him in this range. So Mayfield goes off. What are we at here, round 8? Where is this guy going? All right, I'm going to take Pearsall here as my 5th receiver off the board. Love that San Fran offense, schedule-wise, opportunity-wise. I like Pearsall, what we saw, especially in the back end of last season. He didn't necessarily have the smoothest start in the NFL, so you got to think whole off season under his belt. So pretty comfortable at receiver, pretty comfortable at quarterback right now with this start. Kraft was a guy I would have liked to come back to me here, but we're good. What are we at here? 9th round. Matthew Golden goes off the board after Tucker Kraft. So one spot's got Laporta and Loveland, Burrow, Chase, Wilson, Golden, and then Jacobs, Caleb, Pollard. Pretty nice build. Tootin goes off the board. I'm going to add my RB3 here, Travis Etienne. Like the schedule, like the new HC. It's my RB3. Like what I'm hearing coming out of camp. It's a guy I've been clicking pretty much since January, to be honest, just because I feel like he gets a second chance here, gets a bounce back this year. I was thinking the same thing, Jamie. And honestly, I think that helped me make my decision even more was when I saw Tootin go off the board. I had Etienne in my queue, and I was looking at other options. But to me, I feel good about my Etienne pick there. You know, I love Tootin. Don't get me wrong. I grabbed him in any rookie draft that I could. But the fact that he went ahead of Etienne is interesting to me. Jalen Polk out in New England. Mike Reese from ESPN did not list Patriots wide receiver Jalen Polk as a lock to make the roster and believes he could be a candidate for the physically unable to perform list to open training camp. I mean, it's not like people are talking about Polk as a breakout candidate or anything this year, but thought that was interesting. Obviously, Diggs coming off the ACL. You've got Kyle Williams, the rookie. May in his second season. Think that offense could be interesting. Actually, Sports Illustrated's John Shipley believes Travis Etienne will start the season as the team's RB1. It's June, right? But if you're drafting Etienne or you've got Etienne bags, you like hearing it. Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals have resumed talks over his possible extension. That would be smart of the team. All right, let's start loading the queue. This is kind of this is the range I really like. Once we get in the double digits, I mean, I don't know what it is, but the 8th round, I was happy Pearsall fell to me there. But sometimes I get in the 8th round, 9th round, I'm like, I don't love these guys right now. But pretty happy getting Pearsall and Etienne in those two, with those two picks. All right, 2 of the guys I had highlighted are gone here. Let's see here. I got 2 guys kind of in mind. I'm going to take one more receiver, lock up my receiver room. Egbuka, he's a guy that I keep trying to draft in this range and keep missing on him. So I like getting him as my wide receiver 6 here. I'm pretty happy with my receiver room now. Can focus on these other positions. Garendo is a guy I really like. Coming back the other way, I was hoping he would fall to me. And then Dallas Goedert, obviously. I just feel like Dallas Goedert is undervalued, I guess you could call it. But he went obviously a couple picks prior. Darnell Mooney's another guy I was thinking. I'm not really worried about my plan. I know you're asking about at the position, but I mean, the 2 positions I think you can make up the most in the back end of a draft is QB and tight end. So I'm not too worried about it. Ryan, I see your question. I'm not sure if you're asking like for my team or if I like them. Yeah, Snowman, that's kind of my... I'll come back to Coleman, but that's kind of my idea, right? I think one mistake a lot of drafters do is they're not looking at the whole season and the different sections of the season, right? You've got like the first chunk of the season, I guess you could say the first half, first third. Then you've got the back end of the regular season. Then you've got the fantasy playoffs. So I've got A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, and Worthy kind of locked in for the whole seasons. And then I've got Odunze, Pearsall, and Igboku just giving me monster upside at the position behind them. I am easily clicking on Likely here. Isaiah Likely, I think, is another guy who can blow up this year. And I love, if I haven't taken care of my tight end till this range, I love me some Isaiah Likely. So Ryan, here's, just to answer your question, Ryan's asking about Coleman. If I had not taken Igbuka and or Pearsall, I don't mind Coleman. I mean, what is he? Who else is there right now? Shakir. So he's the receiver 2 in that offense behind Kincaid, he's probably the third read. Fourth read if you include James Cook. And just the way that offense shakes out, I mean, in this range, I think Coleman can be a pretty decent upside play, but I've got my 3 upside plays now. I'm not necessarily looking that for my build. Yeah, I don't know that anything needs to happen to DJ Moore, to be honest. It all depends on where Ben Johnson puts these guys in that offense, who's going to play the slot. We don't really know how he sees these guys in his offense yet. We're just speculating. So for me, you got to think Chicago takes a step forward offensively. I think Odunze is a guy not too many people are talking about as a potential breakout this year because he didn't necessarily give you that Neighbors worthy type upside that we saw from those two last year in their rookie seasons. I think he's set up nicely right now, and his value is kind of that, 6th round. He can shoot up. He could shoot up, and next season, this time next season, we could be taking him as a top 12, 15 receiver. Who knows? Yeah, we'll see. Let me pull up likely here. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The thing is, again, you're telling a story with each build, right? You guys hear me say that over and over. This kid is 25, 6'5", 245. His burst score is insane. He finished top 20 tight ends, fantasy points per game. I think in a committee, which is basically what I'm going for when I start my tight end build this late. I think he's a nice piece to a committee. Do I love him being my tight end 1? Not necessarily. But let's see what I end up with once this build is done, and I think you'll feel a little more comfortable with it. We'll see. What do we got here? 12th round. Let me see how much I have of this guy. I feel like I've been taking this guy in every draft. Woo! Actually, that's not too bad. I don't have him in the Big Gorilla yet, so I'm going to take Brenton Strange here. Again, I like their schedule. I've got Etienne, so like a mini kind of Jacksonville stack. think I have two guys I'm kind of looking at coming back the other way that I really like in this range. We'll see who makes it. Apologies for the silence. My wheels are turning right now. The brain is in full processing mode to try to. These are kind of the crucial rounds in my opinion. I think these are kind of where the make or break rounds happen. I mean, the last few rounds are usually, you know, you're looking at guys that you're probably going to be cycling through with the waiver wire pickups. But these kind of early teen rounds, I think, are very crucial to builds, especially in these redrafts. Best ball as well, but best ball because you're not necessarily filling up a lineup every week, like a starting lineup. It's a little more forgiving. But in redraft, you gotta fill those starting lineups every week. So this is pretty nice because most of my guys made it back to me. Just see where I have these guys and where their ADPs are. And then we can talk about it. On deck. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to triple tap or if I want to go running back here. Let me just see where I have these guys. All right. I'm going to triple tap, take Hunter Henry. He's kind of my fallback, my tried and true. I feel safe, especially if I'm building kind of these 3 tight end builds. And if you look at my build right now, I've got Bijan and Pacheco with Etienne at running back. Solid trio. Obviously, I don't have depth yet. My receivers are solid. I mean, I could go no receiver the rest of the draft, and I'm happy. I've got my 3 studs and then my 3 upside plays. A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy with Odunze, Pearsall, Igboku. I've got Jalen Hurts, who's going to be my stud every week starting. And then I've got my 3 tight ends, Likely, Strange, and Henry. I feel like I'm super good. Super good. That's a sound. I don't even know what I sound like there, but you know what I'm trying to say. I feel really strong with that tight end core. There are, like, Roshan is a guy considered here. I think he's got decent upside again in that offense. Another couple running backs I was looking at that probably won't make it back to me, but that's fine. I think we can find enough running back depth. Like, I could just smash Green the rest of the draft and I'll be happy. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, Snowman. Could definitely add. Again, I've got, what are we at? 6. So 6 more picks minus the. So we got 7 more picks. So I've got at least 5 more positional plays because I got to pick defense and kicker, right? So I mean, I could even take a fourth tight end if I want. You know, that's the beauty of what I've done right now is I don't really have a need. You know, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Let me know what you guys think so far. We did wait a little later on the tight end position, but I feel like the depth that you get from like as soon as you get into the double-digit rounds, you can kind of build yourself a nice tight end room without panicking. Yeah, I agree with that. Backup RBs are like lottery tickets. You never know which will hit or when. That is definitely true. Start loading up my my queue here. Yeah, Chubb was a guy I wouldn't have minded if he made it back. I like his situation in Houston now. Like I said earlier, I think Mixon's walking around in a boot right now. Dylan Sampson, offers really nice upside in Cleveland. I know they brought in Judkins. They've got Jerome Ford. But you got to think he at least gets a role. So round 14, these are 20-round drafts. For those that might be a little newer to the FFPC, they're big tournament drafts. It's a nice pocket here. All right, people aren't going to like this pick, but I'm going to take this guy. I like Blake Corum. I think he's kind of being pushed aside right now. Love the mind behind that offense. Like that offense as a whole. And then I've got a whole staple of running backs, so I'll hit one of them on the way back either way. But I feel like... That's hilarious. Every team has warts. Yeah, I mean, look, it's like you said, you pick your favorite here, right? And I mean, I just feel like we were so high on Corum coming into the season. He got injured last year. Yeah, Will Shipley was the other guy I considered there, especially with my little Philly stack. I thought he might make it back to me, to be honest. Taj Brooks is another guy I was looking at. This pocket of running backs is nice, man. I'm not gonna lie. This like 13 to like 15. There's some really nice running backs here. Couple receivers I actually really like here. Check my ownership real quick because sometimes I feel like I'm clicking on the same guys. It's my time, 40 seconds. Let's see here. All right, we don't have him in the Big Gorilla. How much do we have on the site? No, that's not bad. Oh, actually, you know what? My other receiver is gone. Does he usually go in this range? Let's see here. No, I'm going Keenan Allen here. Still believe he signs somewhere. Still believe he ends up a wide receiver 2 in an offense somewhere. Again, as kind of my last receiver. I know if he's playing, he's PPR monster. I think I knew who you were talking about, Rob, but I have so much of him at this point. Let me see where I'm at with him. Yeah, actually, I got about the same between the two. Let me see if I have him in the Big Gorilla. Yeah, oh yeah. 66% of who you were thinking about, Rob, in the Big Gorilla with the other guy. So I'm glad I went Allen there. I don't have any Keenan Allen in the Big Gorilla. I know the shiny toys are fun with the rookies, but I feel like Blake Corum, I think people are maybe giving Jarquez Hunter, I don't know how to phrase this. Not necessarily they're giving him too much credit. I don't know that in that offense that he's just going to come in and automatically, surpass Corum. I believe Kyron's definitely the RB1. But I think people forget how good Blake Corum is, man. We'll see what he does. Haha. All right, so let's look at the build so far. From the 4 spot, we've got Bijan, Pacheco, Etienne, and Corum. We've got A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Worthy, Odunze, Pearsall, Igboku, Keenan Allen. Tight ends are Likely, Strange, and Henry, with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. See who else we can find. Ooh. All right, so after 15, so we've got 5 picks left, minus the defense and the kicker. We see Brandon Aubrey go off as the first kicker, and then the Philly defense goes off. You don't like the music or what? Switch it up here. Is that better? There you go. Let's liven it up a bit for the end of the draft here, for the back third of the draft. So again, guys, make sure you don't miss the reboot of the GOAT District High Stakes Fantasy Football Show back this coming Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be checking out a FFPC main event, $2,000 buy-in. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that music either. I was so into the draft, though, I wasn't even paying attention. That's kind of what happens. Another guy I feel like I keep grabbing. Let's see here. What are we on time here? That's what I love about these. Oh. All right, let me see something here. Yeah, we're about the same. All right, let's go Devin Neal here. Little rookie blood at the running back position. A couple of guys I really like here. So 4 more picks to go. 2 more positional players, 1 kicker, 1 defense. You guys can see most people wait till the last, 2-3 rounds to take their kickers and defenses. Aubrey's pretty much the locked-in chalk first kicker off the board, and then Chase McLaughlin usually goes right after him. Don't be shy, guys. Let me know what you like, you don't like so far of the build. This is a $350 buy-in, $5.7 million prize pool money. Big Gorilla, also early Rampage, so it's actually 2 tournaments for the price of 1. I believe there's just 1 more draft tonight. I think that starts around 10 o'clock, I believe, if it filled. Little tight end run here with Harold Fannin, Gesicki, Juwan Johnson. The silence right now is just me in my head saying, please don't take my guy. 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 That's what's happening right now. Who's Hill? No, that's your guy, dude. That is your guy. I don't want to name players that are not off the board yet, but people are forgetting something. There's a player who wasn't there last year who allowed... We'll talk about it once it's off the board. All right, my boy is still there. I'm going to go Jordan James. There's one offense that makes running backs successful. It is the San Francisco 49ers. The Shanahanigans. I mean, that dude just knows how to run, how to give a running back the opportunities they need to score points. And as much as I love Guerrero and CMC's a machine, we all know what happens at that position this late. I was hoping James would make it back. It's kind of why I took Neal first. I almost took James first, to be honest, but I love getting both these guys right now to add that upside. I think people are forgetting, there he goes, Keaton Mitchell. People are forgetting that Keaton Mitchell was not there last year. And Keaton Mitchell, before he got injured, looked really good. So, yes, Justice Hill looked great last year, but look at the offense he's in. There was literally no one else behind him. He complements Henry nicely, and he's able to fill in when Henry's injured or taking a few plays off. But I don't know that he's necessarily going to have that. Don't get me wrong. He's good at what he does and at his price and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that Keaton Mitchell was not there last year. And Keaton Mitchell, like I said, I liked what I saw from him. So he's another guy I had in my queue in this range. All right, so far we've got Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position. We've got Bijan, Pacheco, Trevor Etienne, Blake Corum, Devin Neal, James Jordan at the running back position. Our receivers are A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy, Romo Dunze, Ricky Pearsall, Emeka Ikbuka, Keenan Allen. And then we've got Isaiah Likely, Brenton Strange, and Hunter Henry at the tight end position. We got 3 picks left. One of those will be a kicker. One of those will be a defense. You have to take a kicker and a defense in these drafts. All right, who are we looking at here? Man, this thing's pressing right into my skull right now. I see something. Let me see here. All right, so what am I looking at? I'm going to take the Washington kicker. They have a week 12 bye. It's an offense that scores a lot of points, and I don't have any Washington offensive players, so it's not like he's going to be, you know, kind of eating up some offensive points. If I can get a guy with a late bye at kicker in a good offense, I'm usually pretty happy with it. So I'll take that in the 18th. Butker's the other guy I considered, but I've got him, I think, on one or two other teams already. Just want to mix it up a bit. Now let's see where we at. The silence is because it's like I want to talk about what I'm thinking, but there, you know, it is a live draft. There's people that are drafting that might be watching, you know, all that stuff. So if you have comments or questions, guys, just drop them. Yeah, later, Snowman. Appreciate you joining, man. So just a little strategy thing is I'll usually, if like kicker, I'll usually take first just because they're a little more predictable than defense. So if I can take a, you know, someone I like I said, in a good offense with a late bye week, and it's not necessarily eating up points from my other positional players, and that's what I got from Washington's new kicker. Just looking at a defense here, I mean, all right, let's see here if we want to go positional player or defense. I mean, all right, so we took KC defense. I mean, there's a lot of defenses here. It's defense is kind of a crapshoot. Let's face it. Unless you get one of the top defenses, it's pretty much a crapshoot. What I would have liked to have done if I had done it a little earlier is kind of look at the beginning of the season with some of these teams. So now that I've got KC, let's see how they start the season. Obviously, Dallas gets a free look, but they play Philly first week. So KC plays the Chargers week 1. I mean, that game can go either way. You know what I mean? And then they play, so KC doesn't have the best start to the season, so I might try to grab another defense. And that when you're looking at your defenses, that's kind of what you want to do. I mean, KC does have the Giants in week 3. So what I'll probably do is see if I can, as we get closer to the season, there are some waiver wires as we go into the season, and I'll probably look for a defense that will complement them or just replace them altogether. You know, it just depends what's out there on the waiver wire, but I probably could have waited to get my defense with the last pick. So let me see what we do here with our last pick of the draft. Got some guys in my queue. I mean, either one of these guys. See if there's any news on any of these guys. Yeah, nothing really. All right, we'll see which one of these guys falls to us. And then with the last pick, so we basically have, actually, let me just check one other position just in case. All right, let me see. What's his, so week 9. Looking up some bye week matchups just to see if I. Oh, wow. Man. Wowzers. All right, I am actually not going to do that because I'm just thinking, yeah. I was looking at quarterbacks. I mean, if I take a guy like Hurts early in the draft, I'm not usually taking backups in the initial draft just because you can usually get them off waivers. And I mean, I'm not going to be starting anyone over Hurts that I draft now anyways. But I'm not going to lie, there's some pretty nice options there at quarterback. I mean, you could wait till the last round, take your quarterback. But if the problem with taking one now is Hurts' bye week is week 9. So it's like I'm holding a guy on my bench for, 9 weeks of the season, really for no reason. I would rather take some depth at other positions. Just trying to decide if I want to take running back in a room I already have or a totally different one. All right, let's stick to the original plan. I'm going to take Elijah Mitchell, last pick of the draft here. I mean, again, these guys are going on and off waivers, but with Pacheco there, I mean, it gives me, I don't know. I mean, any of these running backs I take here are kind of flyers, hoping that they walk into a really good situation going into the season based off injuries. It's not necessarily going to be a depth chart thing with the guys that are left in this range. You're looking at guys that are going to benefit from injuries. That's basically what it is. So in a vacuum, I prefer Elijah Mitchell. Here, the upside he has in that offense, what we've seen from him. Yeah, I don't know. It's, you know, not my favorite pick, but it's the last pick of the draft, and to be honest, he's probably not going to be on my roster by the time we get. Trying to find my comment window because I hear it going off. There we go. Appreciate you guys watching, man. You guys were awesome. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there again. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll just do a quick review of the roster. We were in the 4 spot. This is a Big Gorilla. Early Rampage, so you kind of get a Rampage, whichever way you want to say it. It's you're basically getting it to 2 tournaments. I believe 10,000 is for first for the early Rampage. You're out of 2,400 teams. And then the Big Gorilla is out of 20,000 plus teams. So it gives you kind of a mini tournament within the tournament, which is why I wanted to get into this. Give you guys a little Father's Day live draft stream on our favorite site, the FFPC. If you're not already on the FFPC, make sure you use the code, guys. You see it on the screen, DRBaller, DRBALLER. You'll get $25 off your first team with your first deposit on the site, myffpc.com. So we started off with Bijan in the 4 spot. We came with triple tap at the receiving position with A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy. We've got Jalen Hurts for the stack and kind of the last QB in the first tier for me. I think if Burrow or Hurts make it back to me here, I will probably take them. And if they don't, I'm waiting until way deep into the draft for quarterback because I do find there's some really nice value later on. I mean, to be honest, there's guys that are still not even drafted yet that I would, you know, take 2 of them and roll the season that way. But Rome Odunze starts off our flex positions. Isaiah Pacheco is RB2. Ricky Pearsall, Travis Etienne, Igbuka. Again, with Odunze, Pearsall, Igbuka give us that receiver upside with some depth. Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Etienne, RB2 room is basically what we're filling behind Bijan. We also took Blake Corum, Devin Neal, Jordan James, and then Elijah Mitchell as our last pick. Gives us a couple plays in that KC backfield. Again, chances of Mitchell being on the roster long unless something happens going into the season is slim. We've got Isaiah Likely, Brenton Strange, Hunter Henry as our tight ends. We did wait pretty long, but still pretty happy with those 3 guys. Strange and Henry are kind of my fallbacks when it comes to tight end if I'm waiting till later in the draft. If I don't get like a Kittle or like a stackable play, Dallas Goedert would have been a play if he made it to me. But again, you know, I'm not like glued to it. We took Matt Gay just because he's in a good offense in Washington. He's a week 12 bye, so if he starts off strong in that offense, I've got my kicker, you know, kind of locked in for the first dozen weeks, and I don't really have to worry about spending waiver wire money on it. And our defense is Kansas City. Looking at the schedule after we took KC, first 2 weeks aren't the best with Philly and the Chargers, but they are playing the Giants in week 3. So if I need to like drop Mitchell going into the season, that first waiver run, and grab myself a defense or something like that, I'm fine with it. Otherwise, I roll with KC. KC is usually pretty decent. The thing with defenses is it's roll the dice. So I like to take my kicker first, a little more predictable. Usually like to go with one in a good offense. And then I probably could have waited for my defense until the 20th round. But, it's all in hindsight. At the end of the day, these last drafts are not as crucial to the draft as the rest of them. If you look at the builds, I mean, nothing too crazy. The 7th spot is the one that stood out early just because he went Bowers, took 5 running backs in the first 7 rounds, and then from Sutton, he went with Diggs, Besh, Quentin Johnson, McMillan, Leggett. I don't know if he's got enough at receiver to make that team work, but we'll have to see. Otherwise, I mean, some nice, solid, balanced out builds throughout this draft. If there's a team you see that you really like or you find is interesting, make sure you drop it in the comments. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me on this Sunday night, this Father's Day evening. Draft room after hours. It's been a blast. Make sure you tune in this week. We've got Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, the reboot of the GOAT District High Stakes Fantasy Football Show. And then, as I do every week this offseason, I'll be coming to you guys with at least 2 or 3 other live drafts this week. Have a good evening, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll check you all later.